place entirely in the house where two couples, I think, are quarreling about sex and stuff.
Yeah.
The Visit?
What's the title?
Yeah.
Because The Visit is what comes to mind.
No, it's not The Visit.
The people who did Breaded Life did that one too.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah, and she did Breaded Life, by the way.
I do not know that.
So anyway, yeah, just really low scale. So that's what
side, I think. I'm not sure if I recall.
Yeah, so for me, I just want to see what happens when she has a significant budget. Will she increase the scale, or will she keep doing small movies like this? But I will have to say that for what she's done with Sister is pretty remarkable. And if anybody out here hasn't seen it, I think you should see it and understand that something interesting is going on in the industry. I think it's mostly spearheaded by women. But like I said this on social media and people were calling me and saying, blah, 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 But I think that it checks out, On the high level, you have Jadi. On the lower level, you have, somewhere in the middle. And somewhere out of good Nollywood, you have a lot of the guys. But yeah, let's see.
But to what Oris said, it's very, very good point about trying to see if that movie would do well in cinema.
In the cinemas, yes.
Yes. So that's another angle to it, because at the same time, the producer is trying to make money, make this good film, because they know that there's the convenience of people in diaspora as well, and those in Nigeria who don't even want to go to cinema, maybe because of COVID. But now, do we now say, okay, test this movie in the box office? Would it now affect how much it will be bought by these streaming services? Because that's another key game.
That's only yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of if you're thinking about the money.
Was in cinema shortly, just like with Sister, but the trade also went to Prime. So again, does it affect? So those are
exactly. And I know for a fact that the trade didn't do exceedingly well at the cinemas, and it's an incredible film for me. It's one of the best I've seen in like 10 years, from Hollywood. But at the same time, it didn't do very well. So I wonder if Biodun's smaller scale movies can do well, because I know for a fact that in the US, for instance, most people are responding to big Tom Cruise movies, for instance, these really big looking movies. The smaller movies don't make as much money anymore. In fact, there's a story that mid-budget movies no longer make money at the cinemas in the US. I wonder if you are also in the same space here, but the
when he does that kind of film now, will she have enough money to do promotion?
Exactly. So all of these considerations, to be honest, I think what is happening is the streaming craze has made certain things erased. We are not consuming certain things because people are seeing these movies from their homes. You are paying 3,000 naira and you can watch like a bunch of movies. But let's see what happens if these same movies that we say are great on streaming platforms go to the cinemas. Will they make as much buzz? That's the question.
I want to stretch that conversation a little bit. Number one, do you think having the streaming platforms, do you think they're doing better, or it's like a sort of good news for Nollywood, number one? And secondly is, do you think, or aside the obvious, which is economic reasons, what are the other things contributing to some movies not doing well
at the cinemas?
I think Irabor and I have had that conversation at some point, but again, it keeps coming back. So number one, do you think this streaming platforms are doing well, or they are good news for Nollywood, going back by the budget of a number of producers? And secondly, what are the factors affecting the success of some movies at the cinemas?
I think no, Irabor, do you want to go first? That's fine.
Okay. No, anyway, anyone. But what I'm going to say is, not every film must go to cinema. There are different platforms. You have YouTube, you have TV, you have the streaming services, you have the airlines, you have cinema and all that. So not every film must go to cinema. So whenever filmmakers are making their film, they need to have extensive pre-production to understand what is the direction of this film. Are we even taking it to festivals where we're trying to use it as a form of PR to promote ourselves, or it's a cause we're pursuing or something? So they need to understand that. Because when you decide to just make any type of film and expect it to go to cinema, you would be making a very huge mistake, because not all films are meant for cinema. There are some Tyler Perry films that would just go to TV, that you've not even heard of, that you don't even need to see in cinema. So there are some films in Nollywood, in my own opinion, I even think about 70% of them don't even, in fact, if not more, don't need to be in cinema. They need to be on streaming services straight, or on TV straight, or just be on YouTube so that they can grow their YouTube subscribers. So that's the case. But now, if you're now looking at a film that is worthy of being in cinema, again, back to pre-production, you need to know the direction of that film, how you're going to promote it, how you're going to market it, the distributor you're going to use, the life cycle of that film, that is from going to cinema the promo, pre-promo, during promo, post-promo, and how it's now going to eventually end up maybe, in any streaming service or the airlines. So filmmakers now need to be very particular and strategic with their filmmaking. It's not just about carrying camera, putting it on. It's show business. That's why you have the business part of it. So you need to understand how much is it that you're going to use to be able to get this film off the ground? How much are you projecting to expect to make in cinema? Because there are like 5 people who still get out of that pot. You have the taxes, you have the producer, you have the executive producer or whatever. Then you have the cinema and the distribution, the distribution company. So it's all these many things. That's why I always urge people, go to festivals, do research. It's not just about, oh, I'm seeing Jade Oshiberu, doing great. Let me go and make my own film. Then you're now looking at the intricacies of what it took Jade, who did the soccer back in the day, who has won an AMVCA back in the day, to now get to this point where she is that same fundamental background, foundational element of Jade that got Jade these deals that she's getting with Prime. It's the same thing that Mo Abudu did. It's the same thing that Kayode Kasulu is doing. It's the same thing that Nia Kimalayan is doing, Kunle Afolayan is doing. Back in the day, before Kunle got Kunle was getting African Magic deals. So people need to really study. It's a business now. You can't just go and do film.
I feel like I can scoop some of your passion as you were speaking. Very palpable and very well understood. Thank you, Irabor. What about you? What are your thoughts, Oris?
Okay. I think specifically for what affects the movies who actually are going to the cinemas, I think the major thing is promotion, to be honest. And I think that's one of the things that I think Nollywood generally, save for a few people, and I think Irabor has mentioned them, by the way. Except for a few people, I think they don't understand that you need to promote the movie almost, yes, like you have to have a budget, minus a production budget or shooting budget, something to promote this, to promote your movies. People just assume that, oh, it's a good film. People will come and see it. It's a big, fat, incredible lie, It doesn't mean anything. That you shot the movie and you have doesn't mean anything at all, You have to figure out who are going to come to the cinema. So I think the major thing is people are not thinking a lot about how much money they need to budget for marketing, which is like an integral part of the entire story, And of course, especially now that it looks like you are competing technically with the streamers. So why would I want to leave my home where I have a bunch of movies on like my phone to head to the cinemas to see your film? You have to give me a compelling reason why I should make that journey. I think that's a thing 5-10 years ago, that wasn't the case. But now you have to really think about that when you're moving. In fact, we are writing the scripts. You have to be thinking about, okay, when we get to this point, how are we going to force Shion? How are we going to force Irabor? How are we going to force Oris to come into the cinema hall to see this movie? So I think that's the major thing. I think the major thing is like trying to crack marketing, how to get people to come into what's it called now? Into the cinema hall. As regarding whether streaming platforms
is
are
a
a
good
good
news for
thing
Nollywood.
for Nollywood, yes. I think it's good and bad, but hear me out. I think for the producers who can get the massive deals, it's incredibly good. They no longer have to start hustling. I mean, if you have a movie for 50 million, for instance, you have to believe that you have to get at least 150 million to make everybody involved in that thing a little bit happy, even a little bit, It has to be at least triple, But now you have 50 million. Technically speaking, all you need to do is sell it for 100 and you are probably fine. You understand? But the problem is only very, very few people will get those deals. It's just how life works.
They're not rich 10.
Everybody can get it. Exactly.
Okay.
It's a handful.
Thank
that's
you.
The problem.
So I figured that we need to go on this break. I was about to ask you what your thoughts are on the movie A Lot Like Love, which has just been released to a streaming platform, but that will be after this break because I can only imagine what will happen when Irabor and you launch into that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right. Then, if you'd like to have your own thoughts read out or heard, you can call 01448-9981, or you can send your WhatsApp messages to 0809-444-0981. You're listening to Film Focus on Smooth 98.1.
I think you've seen this film. This one you are.
I have. And I want.
She certainly has her own thoughts.
I want my life back.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was not bad.
I want the minutes of my life that I spent on
It was bad.
that movie back. You've not watched it?
No, he hasn't seen it. I think he said as much. He hasn't seen it.
Oh, you've not watched A Lot Like Love?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
you are the lucky one.
Yes, your brain cells are intact.
No, I don't have. I feel like Shion is being extreme now by She's been extreme. Say brain cells.
Oris, how am I being extreme?
I don't know about brain cells, please. Your brain cells will still be intact.
Some of them will be fried, taken away, never to come back, charged, cremated, gone, blown away with the wind.
We are alive. And this has to be the first time I'm hearing Sheon speak this passionately online about
whatever you have seen or heard does not represent the stance of Smooth 98.1.
But it represents his person's stance, please. Everybody should remember that. Sheon has said what Sheon thinks.
That's not a moment.
Which isn't very common, to be honest.
Because I'm supposed to be neutral.
You must.
Oh, a lot like love is Nollywood, though.
What?
Yes,
it's Nollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's of course the Nollywood.
It's Nollywood.
I think it's about a week old now or 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think it was released.
On the
Yeah.
Have you used that from him?
That's from him. I mean, that's no.
The grapevine for all your celebrity DJs. And it's more action on your favorite sports on the locker room. And that's if you had to, because Lagos talks here. It's all that and more. With music just for you to help you commute all the way to work. The Smooth Breakfast. Mondays to Fridays from 6 a.m. Love music.
Okay.
Okay.
You're my first. You're the last. We put you first. We don't put you last. And you are our everything right here on Smooth 98.1. That's why we carefully curate the playlist and craft the programs for you to make sure that you're entertained, you're informed, you're educated. And of course, we also allow you to share your thoughts and perspectives. Right now, it is 27 minutes past 11 o'clock. You're listening to Film Focus. My name is Oluwaseun Olusegun. I do have Oris right here in the studio and Irabor Okosun on Zoom.
Yeah.
This is about where we review movies. We've done one, which is that we've talked about the advancement of Nollywood, especially with the streaming platforms and sites. And of course, I've also talked about some of the things that could be done better as touching movies going to the cinemas. So now, a lot like love. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have seen. I don't think Irabor has seen it. So
No, I haven't.
yeah, so I will just speak a bit about it. I think a little bit about the synopsis. What's the movie about? A Lot Like Love is, I think, it's about a couple, a man, a woman, Rama Sadao and
Ibrahim Suleiman.
Suleiman, exactly. Husband, wife. They're about to go on a vacation. Apparently, her father is rich, his father isn't. About to go on a vacation when the man is kidnapped. And the movie follows what happens after that kidnap. And well, yeah, that's pretty much what it's about. I think the first thing to say about it is it's significantly
limited,
low budget in a way that a Biodun Steven movie is low budget, but not with the same brains.
What does that even mean, Oris? What does that mean?
Okay, I would explain. So what I mean by that is that you can see the movie and tell that, you know what, not a lot of money was spent in doing this film. However, like I was saying earlier about Biodun Steven, I think she does a lot for what amount of money that she's putting into the movies. In this case, the amount of money in this movie is exactly the amount of sense in it. You know, so it's low budget and unfortunately low sense, sadly.
No, you cannot say that, you're Oris. That's what? Low sense.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
I'm just saying, I think sometimes
you can be more euphemistic.
Okay, I'm sorry. Who am I apologizing to? Anyway, I'm not sorry, actually. It's just the truth. So the point is that sometimes in Nollywood,
Irabor, I will mute your microphone.
You can tell how good a movie is by how much the budget is sometimes. Sometimes you can't tell. So for Biodun Steven, you can't tell because it's inverse. Unfortunately, for this movie, it's kind of like on the same level. So what I mean by that is this. Rama Sadao, the famous actress from northern Nigeria, is a little bit, I think, miscast in some way.
Who would you have cast in that role?
I wouldn't even think about, for me, it's not really about the person, it's about the chemistry. I don't not feel like there's a lot of chemistry between Rahama Sadao and Ibrahim Suleiman in the movie. So the question would be like, it would be more like casting the couple, a different guy, a different lady. People who have, some kind of palpable chemistry.
Yeah.
I couldn't see it in this particular movie. And so first things first. So that was, I think, the major thing. But I think part of the problem why I was talking about, I'm sorry for you now, low sense, was because somewhere along the line, in trying to like unravel who or what has happened to this kidnapping thing, I think they miss a lot of steps. And eventually it ends up like, okay, you're like wondering, okay, who or why is this person being kidnapped? And eventually it's like the easiest thing that almost from the minute in which it happened, I could tell exactly what was actually behind this.
So predictable.
Yeah, so it was super predictable. Yes, that's the easy way of putting it. Super predictable, no real chemistry between the leads. And then you have, I always feel like for Hollywood, when they are doing a mystery story, everybody just wants to go to the easiest things. It really pisses me off, that's the best way to put it. I'm not really happy when you make this incredible deal about one incident and eventually it is the easiest thing available that is the real reason behind it. And that's exactly what happened in this case. And then the film goes on, and when you get to the very last bit, the last shot, in fact, the last scene of the movie, you're like, okay, what happened before? What is the crime? We know the crime. What is the punishment? So anyway, yeah, it's about an hour and 30 minutes, about an hour and 30 minutes. I think it works decently for the first 20 minutes. After that, the movie collapses.
Would you recommend it?
Would I recommend? I always think you should see everything because I think and to be honest, it's on the streaming platform. You are not really spending any more money. So if you can.
You're spending time.
Yeah, okay. If your time is super valuable, don't say it. If you can let it in this time, then you should probably say it. No, I'm serious. You're always laughing, but I'm serious.
Why are you laughing?
If you feel like you could be making $1 million in an hour, then don't say it.
Why am I laughing?
If you feel like, you have the time, say it.
Do you know why I'm laughing?
Why are you laughing?
All right. So now there's this thing about Nollywood producers, which I kind of understand it from their own standpoint, but I think they are misguided. So, for example, the fact that this film is on Netflix, to them, it's a win. Like they don't care what we're saying.
Irabor, they're not actually wrong. It is a win. The problem is this: is that people think that Netflix is a place that confers prestige. No, it's just a marketplace. That's what it is. There's good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah.
So when I say they think it's a win, that's why I said I can understand it from their standpoint.
Yeah.
I always talk about show business. It's a business, no problem. Now we're entering this phase of Nollywood where those types of films, it's just a matter of time. If the other producers wake up to now focus on the films itself and how they are executed.
Yeah.
Do you get my point? Not just bring out the order of things where, for example, it's a great premise. No, it's a great premise, but it's not executed. Do you understand? But it's on Netflix. It's a win. So that's what I'm saying.
No, I get you, Rabo. I guess my point is that for these guys, they got a little bit of money, and it's on an international platform. Those two things for people in the industry, they feel like that's enough. And let's face it again, you cannot have a streaming platform cannot succeed entirely by putting on only movies like Gangs of Lagos, which is really good.
For sure.
You cannot succeed. It's just the truth because it's too high budget. It's too high concept.
For sure.
You need to mix up that with some things. And unfortunately, Nollywood seems to be really adept at providing the low barrier movies.
That is just mean.
But it's true.
Oris. Moving on. Let's talk about some other things.
Now, you want us to be lying.
Creed 3. Who are saying Creed 3? At least it's on the streaming platform.
Unfortunately, I've this week, or rather the past 2 weeks, I have been strictly patriotic. So no, I haven't seen any.
Oris, you patriotic. You've been seeing only Nigerian movies.
I just told you. I've just two.
Okay, Tiger's Tale. Did you see it?
Oh, I saw Tiger's Tale back when it was at the cinemas.
And what is your take or thought?
Well, the person who did it is kind of like my guy, so I would. So
you'd be lenient?
No, I won't be lenient. I'll just say no. I'll just say that. I hope he's not listening. It's just not.
He will. He has to, because you have to use the same measure you've used for others. The reason why Nigeria is the way it is.
No, I'm not the reason. No. Believe me, I'm not the reason. So, I'm not the president of the country. Look, the thing is this, some producers in Hollywood believe that crowding their films is how to go, because it means that if, for instance, I think Tiger still has Thatcher, I think the Big Brother Nigeria participant, celebrity rather, So I guess what they assume is that you have, say, an RMD. It's not in the movie, by the way. You have RMD, you tap into his audience. You have Tacha, you tap into audience. You have Sheon, you tap into audience. You have Irabor, you tap into his audience. And all of this, you said anyway, but
Let's
yeah,
move on.
all of
Thank
this
you.
kind of gives you, a certain critical mass of people who see your movie. Unfortunately, it doesn't do much for the storyline itself. And I think that's the real problem with Tiger's.
And that's what I was saying.
So much happening.
And that's what I was saying.
All right, then. Thank you. Who has seen Superstar?
Oh yes, I've seen Superstar when it came out in.
I missed it. I missed it. So
I don't like the film. It's on Netflix. Go and watch it. I don't like the film. So that's another case.
No, it's not. But go ahead with your thought.
What do you say?
On Netflix.
Superstar is on Netflix.
It's not. Go ahead.
I want to argue too, but I won't.
Okay. All right. So Superstar now, you have Daniel Etimefionge, an actor that I like. I think is one of the best out there. Nancy Sime, to me, who I feel who hasn't scratched her surface yet as an actor.
No, but they're not giving her anything to work with, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the thing. So she had, but then again, the ones that they're giving her, I mean, she should come through now. This one with Superstar, I was utterly disappointed, and I'm a fan of Nancy. So
what were the things that disappointed you, and what could have been done
acting,
better?
I didn't like Nancy's acting in this film. In Superstar, I didn't like it at all. Even Daniel's acting, I didn't like it.
Unfortunately, Nancy's a bit hit and miss, to be honest.
Yeah, it was wishy-washy. Both of them, their acting was horrible, in my own opinion. And that's me speaking on this particular film, not them, in general. So the plot was just there. I didn't even understand it. I was just like, okay, is this kind of stories that these kinds of people want to be doing? I'm talking about the caliber of people behind the film. So I just didn't like it. It came out in December 2021.
It's almost 2 years old now, right? Because it's quite a bit. I remember when the producer was making noise about it online. It was really quite a bit.
Okay, so from all these movies that have been talked about on the home front, which of them would you recommend?
Oh, unfortunately, I mean, definitely. I think everybody who is listening to this from the beginning knows we recommend Jordan Stevens' sister.
Yeah.
His sister is the pigeon sister. So I think that's the one I personally can recommend wholeheartedly. Like, you know what? It is not big budget, it's not fancy, it's not glamorous, but
if I hear another big budget or small budget from you, Oris, I will strangle you and throw your body into the lagoon.
I'm going to recommend this for the umpteenth time. Introducing the Kujus is another solid Bjorn Stevens film. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it.
The first one, yes. The second one. I've seen both of them. So
yeah, that's true. We never got to your thought on the
second one.
The Kujus again.
I think I said something about it. I said the problem is, I think we've been, what's the word now? The first part gave you a lot of anticipation for the second part. The second part brings you down. I think that's the best way to just describe what has happened. Wow. So you got the same people, which is a good thing, to act both of them. Unfortunately, the second part just cannot hold a candle to the first part.
Hey! There was a time we asked that question right here on Film Focus, that which movie, the second part, which movie really did it for you? And it looks like there is that curse where it's almost as if you can't beat your first.
Yeah, but I think part of the thing too is again, this is maybe why streaming platforms are bad for Nollywood. It's made people lazy. So I think when people understood that they had to get people to leave their houses, pay 5,000 naira, 3,000 naira to leave their homes to see these movies.
Thank you.
And you would not get your money until people see it. People are a lot more serious about what they were doing. Now what's happening is that they know that you are at home, you want content. The stream platforms give them the money before anything else is done, So before you get in your reviews, people you have already gotten paid. So people are just doing what they can and just, let's leave it at that. So that's the problem.
Another thing again is when you see those movies, fall into the top 10 or top 5, it's just because it came out newly and people just
it's curiosity. It's not quality. Curiosity is not quality. Yeah.
So I mean, let's not go into the things before they say we are enemies. That's why myself and Oris, we call it as it is. I'll call it as it is so that they don't get people in not challenging them. So that's why I'll call out Mabudu, for example. Now she's doing great with all the deals, but if she makes a bad film, I'm like, Mama, sorry, this film is not good.
I just know both of you. I definitely will not be caught outside with you in case any stone is meant for you, and then it hits my head because I think some of those comments are just mean and.
That's not even
fair. Fine. Let's move on. There are some things we still need to talk about. So much. Let's talk about trailers now.
All right.
There are some movies that are meant to be released or at least coming soon to the cinemas as well as some streaming platforms. So we will start with the one. Oh, by the way, before I move to that, did you see the forthcoming collaboration between Nollywood and Bollywood?
No,
It's supposed to be the sister of Namaste Wahala. The sister, in the sense that still from the same. Yes. So it's supposed to be titled Postcards. Don't worry, you can go now that I've given you that information. You can go check it out. I remember last week it was Temilade from Munipano. So when I mentioned that, he said I covered this collaboration with the blood of Jesus or something like that.
Well, it just means the first one was successful, for them to say, you know what, let's go back and to the same well and finish. Yeah.
All right, then.
Okay, let's see. Let's just move on to shows.
Yes, let's move on because we do not have time. And then The House of Secrets. Have you seen the trailer? It is a upcoming Nollywood movie from
that's
Akimolayo.
Oh yeah. I'm always curious about a Ni film. Because I think he has such clouds in it, especially among like newer filmmakers. But I think that a lot of his movies haven't quite hit the mark. I think he only has maybe one, I would think. I can't remember which one that is, that I would say, you know what, this is like a solid film from me. So I'm hoping the House of Secrets is the one that breaks that yoke. That makes it, finally there's a new film that I feel like this, that on the level of the quality and the level of the man's clout, it's exactly on the same level. I don't think I've seen that yet from him. So I hope that, because this trailer was really, really good. But I remember clearly that 5-6 years ago, he did a film called Out of Luck. It had an incredible trailer. And when the movie came out in the cinemas, I was super disappointed. So I'm hoping that 6 years down the line, 5 years down the line, that has changed.
Well, Irabor, I am guessing you've not seen the trailer, so I'll just give it. Have you?
No, I have. It's the same. Yeah. I share the same sentiment with Oris.
Okay. Don't worry, you don't have to repeat it. Thank you.
No, I know. That's why I'm mellow about it.
Thank you so much for that mellowness. It is very important. So that trailer is about an upcoming spy thriller from Ninya Kimolayan that features Ife Irele. There is Sean Fakwa, there is Kate Henshaw, Onajite Dede, Femi Jacobs, and many more. There is Funlola Aofiebi. Yeah,
that's a solid lineup actually.
Yeah, Ekweong Basi too.
What's happening with Ife Irele? It feels to me like over the past maybe like a year, she has become super serious about Nollywood. I always felt she was kind of like, do I want to do this? What it looks like now.
So she has grown to.
She has gone into this space where
that is the same. It's the same thing this guy did. I can't remember his name. But anyway, it's the same thing some of these actors are doing, branching out from their comfort zone and channeling themselves into cinema and
serious stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's good for the industry.
I've noticed that she's really giving it
winner now, so she needs to keep leveraging that.
Yeah.
All right, another one coming from your favorite Biodun Steven is Big Love.
I haven't seen the trailer of that one, unfortunately.
Have you?
I haven't seen
Biba Ademoye and Timine Ebuson, right?
Yes, the love thing.
Now that's Nia Kimolayo's film too.
Okay.
So Irabor, this thing always happens that when we are gradually drawing to the end of the show, there's this buzzing sound.
Your sound just disappears.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Interference. Like a wave interference from outer space.
You can be heard. The problem is there's something on. Okay, it looks okay. No, it's still there.
Maybe you can exit and join again.
Okay.
Don't worry, you won't miss a thing. We promise.
But about Biodun Steven, I think. Well, I haven't seen the trailer, but I just assume that whenever it's Biodun Steven, she's going to do what she's always done: do something small and hopefully sweet.
Okay, do you think? Well, I think you have mentioned it because you keep going to something small. It would really be lovely to see her get funding and get so much money because she definitely has lots that she's up to. I mean, going by some of the things she has done, she always has this refreshing plot that she comes with. There is Ovi's Voice, Sobi's Mystic, Breaded Life. She has this refreshing thing. Yes.
I think what Biodun has is something authentic about Nigerian life. I've always felt like a lot of the people who have gotten into New Nollywood, they come from, let's put it this way, they come from the island or they come from New York or something, So a lot of their movies, they want to maybe there's a character who is poor. It always feels like this is not how poor people in Nigeria behave. You are just superimposing your own beliefs on them. For Biodun, it feels to me like she's super, she's very aware. So that texture of authenticity is always clear in a Biodun Steven movie. So I think, for me, that's the thing she gets right, that particular thing. But I'm also scared, again, that you give certain people a huge budget and things don't quite go as well as you think. So let's hope that, yeah, if she does get it. Funny enough, actually, last week I was on an event with her, and somehow this whole thing about budget came up. And I was just saying that, you know what, I hope that because I think right now, Biodun has such incredible PR that it's not so long in the future where she actually gets like a decent budget, because now people now are aware that, okay, there's somebody doing good stuff with small amounts of money. Let's see what happens when you give her something. So I hope that, yeah, she can maintain the quality across budgets.
Most importantly, I'm curious to see what she will do with more, because if she can do this great with little, I'm very curious about what she will do when she gets more.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. And of course, we need to give her flowers for what she's doing. All right, Irabor, can you say something now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Clearly, crystal
much
clear.
better.
All right, moving on. Has anyone seen the trailer for Poor Things?
That's a Hollywood movie.
Yes, we've crossed over from Nollywood.
Yeah. Who is in it? I think I've seen it, but I just can't remember it. I think.
Oh, by the way, sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. So the Secret of Things, the House
of Secrets
will be on a streaming platform at the end of June, so you can look forward to that. So Poor Things is also Poor Things is coming to the cinema.
Yeah. Well, who is in it? I can't remember. I've seen it, but I can't remember it.
You've got the Hulk. That's Mark Ruffalo. You've got Emma Stone.
Oh yes, okay, I remember now. Yes. So it looks like one of those absurd. In fact, it looks like one of those absurd science fiction comedy. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, the problem with Hollywood now is a lot of the mid-budget movies no longer do as well. You have to just be Tom Cruise or be Marvel to make a lot of money in the cinema. So let's hope this works out. But yeah, I was quite intrigued. I like Mark Ruffalo a whole lot. I think he's a very understated but brilliant actor.
Yeah.
All right, so just a little bit of an information about Poor Things, which will be in the cinema September 8th. That is so far. You have a lot of time to prepare and make up your mind if you'll see it or not. It's about a young woman who was resurrected by an unorthodox scientist that lives a life free of the prejudice of her time. And then you know what happens when you make a creation and the creation hijacks your creation and decides to take a life of its own.
I like AI.
AI and
robots. With AI.
It's actually a thing. Okay, so you could check it out on the internet. There was a simulation of a rescue mission, I believe, by the US Navy that was done by an AI. And guess what? It eliminates the
tower, right? I think I heard about
that. So maybe the fears are real.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And this movie has Emma Stone, by the way, who I haven't seen her since I saw her in La La Land, and I really liked her in La La Land. So I'm hoping that this is super. I like her a lot, actually.
I am all for the British accent. Okay, so moving on, the last one, the cloned Tyrone, John Boyega, Jamie Foxx, who we are really hoping will come out of this.
My baby, Teyona Paris.
No, let me finish talking about Jamie Foxx.
Baby now.
Just like, please.
Jamie Foxx, somebody's life is on the line.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I hope he comes back. That's all I can say, because nobody really knows the real situation of things. I think his family is kind of keeping it on the low.
Yeah.
But for the trailer, I think is another absurd tale, but this time it's like with black actors.
And comedy.
So I'm hoping that combination, the Teyona Paris, Jamie Foxx, and John Boyega, somehow generates magic, from that whole mix.
Someone said it's a triple threat tongue twister. Yeah, and we're looking forward to that. So that will be out on July, the 21st of July, on a streaming platform. Irabor, any words?
Yeah, I would love to see all these Hollywood-based actors that are Nigerians, to do a film together. I would love to see John Boyega, the guy from.
But do you want them to do it in Hollywood or in Nollywood?
I want it in Nollywood.
Want it in Nollywood, but they can't pay John.
John Boyega in Nollywood.
John has to be doing it because he likes.
This is going to be CSR. So again, it's not
CSR. I like that. That's a good one.
It's
CSR.
not every film.
Something for the motherland.
Every actor collects their same wage.
Yeah, but it has to be really good. Most of them do it because they want to get the Oscars or something, get like real prestige.
We can do that. I mean, half of a Yellow Sun, how much did they even make that movie?
No, but remember, I mean, I have to say this. I don't know who is listening, but the fact of the matter is that half of a Yellow Sun's failure, because that's what it was, derailed Nollywood. I think people forget that there was a lot of money riding on that particular thing. Unfortunately, B. Ibanile, bless his soul, I don't think he did a great job of the adaptation. I think a lot of things went wrong with that particular movie. And because of that was supposed to be Nollywood's coming out party.
Yes, so
failed incredibly, critically and commercially.
It was supposed to be.
I don't think anybody should mention that movie as something exemplary in any form, because yes, that movie failed.
Speaking of coming out, lest I forget. So Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was banned from release in United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia.
Because of a trans flag or something, right?
Something like that. Now, speculations, although according to the release from them, it was that it did not meet some local guidelines, and they said international local content must adhere to local customs and values. But speculation is that it was due to the inclusion of a pro-trans flag, and some other people said it was because the character known as Gwen is transgender. So because of that, that's not the only movie, by the way. In last summer, Disney's Lightyear was also banned because of some content that they said did not reflect local values.
Really?
Interesting times.
All I can say is, it is their country, right?
Right. And they're
But they will not go and meet them and ask them or do interview with them to question them, but they will come here and be asking nonsense questions. But
That's the thing about economic power. When they feel like, it's like China. China can do anything. In fact, I learned that what's it called now? From the difference between one of the differences between the first Tom Cruise, what's the name of that film?
Mission Impossible?
No, the other one, the one in the 80s. Oh my
Top
God.
Gun.
Top Gun, exactly. Yes.
Oh,
Between Top Gun and the new Top Gun is that China was unhappy about setting Taiwanese flag on Maverick's jacket. And
very
they took it out. They took it out because of China.
Yes, so
of course, the thing is, China is giving these people money, or at least they know that if they come to their country, they can play incredibly. They can be good numbers.
It's a huge market.
Nigeria is not doing the same thing, so you cannot really say anything, So Nigeria doesn't give them money.
Again, he who plays the piper
exactly. You can dictate the tune. Now we can't dictate any single thing over here. If they can bully us.
We've got 2 minutes to the end of the show. Actually, the show is over, but quickly, movie recommendations for the weekend. There is someone on WhatsApp who did not include his or her name saying, I recommend Passport. It's not a bad watch.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Well, I haven't seen it, but I saw it on I think it was on Netflix, I think. So anyway, I'll see that. Thank you, unknown lady or guy. I'm not sure.
Unknown messenger. All right, quickly, drop your recommendations.
Number one, go and watch Arnold. Arnold. It got me in my...
Yes, the documentary, right?
Yeah, Arnold. You should check it out. It just tells you about the life and how, somebody becomes a person, a brand, becomes something in life and all the trials and tribulations. So Arnold is a recommendation from me.
All right. I'll recommend, I mean, like I said, patriotic guy, see Sister, the Building State movie.
It feels like everybody in Nigeria has seen Sister at this point.
At this point, right? Okay, then
So
maybe I give you something not a little heavily controversial, but from Hollywood, from HBO. It's called The Idol. It features the pop singer, The Weeknd, exactly. And it's causing a whole lot of noise because of some of the some of the sex scenes,
Okay, then recommend something else.
Why? You should see it. There are adults watching this thing, listen to us, right? Please see The Idol and tell us what you think next week.
Okay, give something that is neutral that will not rub off on the wrong way.
Oh man, I already said Sister. Now I'm saying this one. What cannot? I can't think of anything else. Wait, what?
I said that's what your palette take the diverse.
I've already given these two. Please just leave my shirt. I can't think of anything else I think anyone should see. By the way, there's a very old show. It's on what's this platform?
What am I supposed to know? Am I in your mind?
It's on Showmax. Yes, it's on Showmax. And it is called Angels in America.
All right, then. Thank you very much. The messages, I see them. There is Saint Faja who says Fast X. Oh, by the way, Fast X2 is coming out in 2025. Who will see? Definitely not Oris, going by his stance on the other one. And he mentioned, hold your peace. Okay. We're done with your voice.
Oh my goodness.
Saint Faja says Extraction 2, then Lady Bucket, and also The Mother. Really? Fast X was...
No. This is... Saint Faja, I love you, but this is a terrible list, my friend. It's a terrible list.
And speaking of Extraction 2, I'm sure people were also thinking about Ninolo was... Yeah, it was not. It was not in it. Yeah. So we are done. Thank you so much. Who says Boondocks? Ladies and gentlemen, it was a fun time with
It
all of
was.
you, as
Alright.
always. Let's do this again next week. Same time here, Film Focus on Smooth 98.1. If you're just joining us, we kept it for you on YouTube, youtube.com/smooth 91 FM Lagos. Up next is the news.
That's a terrible list, man. And for
I'm just looking like, what is it?
have you
even
seen?
saying?
Have you seen? Did you see the list? He has like 5. All of them are bad.
Like,
No, he didn't enjoy it. He said he did not enjoy it.
So he said,
Okay.
Fast X, Extraction 2, Lady Bucket, and The Mother. Terrible films, all of them, I have to say. Maybe except I've not seen Extraction
the
2.
bucket and the
How
mother.
come that's the second minute of the mother?
What's Cruz saying you win?
I don't know what he owed. I don't know, man. Why do I owe you, Cruz? And what do you want? My kidney or half of my liver?
Wow.
Bucket, the mother. There was
But,
something I was going to say.
Irabor, you have not seen The Idol. They have like 2 episodes on Showmax at the moment. You should probably
Yeah,
catch
I
it.
thought that was during an NBA game, last NBA finals. They
Yeah,
played that like 10 times.
Yeah,
Within,
see it if you can. It's ridiculous, but it's.
Did I ask you guys about
Watch
your
it now.
thought on love in a pandemic?
I haven't seen that. Somebody has seen it. Who was telling me about
I
it?
have seen it.
No,
but love in the pandemic. I mean, I've not seen any great pandemic.
yeah, just the same faces. Someone was telling me about it, but I haven't.
I've not seen a solid pandemic film, Sha.
You won't be missing anything if you don't see it.
But that's the problem with it's Nollywood. I mean, I don't know, man. Something is
Cruz.
the guys are not just. I don't know. Something is happening with Nollywood at the moment, and I think, like I said, the problem is streaming platform made them really, really lazy.
You know, sometimes when we are given those things, I just like to put myself in the shoes of the people making these movies.
You're not wrong. I get it, but sorry, there's nothing we can do about it.
By the way, I think we need to have Biodo Steven in the studio.
Yeah. I've
Hey, Irabor, you were supposed to get on that. What happened?
It will happen in July, I promise.
July?
In July. Well, that's not so far.
July. It's happening in
Only
July.
2 more episodes for this particular.
All things be equal, we should have a Lazunam on 30th.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, let's talk about
So July then, yeah. So let's July. I promise. Biodo will get Biodo on.
Don't come next week so that you can be in.
For the
Yeah.
fair enough. Good deal.
Oh, all our business is on YouTube.
I'm a huge
Bye,
fan of
guys.